Hello friends, this is Vishal Nadapura. Welcome you in a lecture series of thermodynamics or engineering thermodynamics, in which we were studying about first law of thermodynamics. In last lecture, we have seen Joule's experiment for the first law of thermodynamics, and in which we have derived two different forms for the first law of thermodynamics. First one is the for cyclic process. For cyclic process, it is the integration of change of heat equal to the integration of change of work during the cycle. As well as second form is for the process of change in state or simply a process, in which we have seen equation like this, del q equal to du plus del w. Here del indicates that it is not a complete differentiation, because heat and work both are a path function, not a point function. Here u is a complete differentiation because it is a point function, in which we have seen internal energy du as a property of the system, in which we have seen two process, say from one to state 1, equilibrium state 1 to equilibrium state 2, in which process system follows the path A to reach from 1 to 2, but in reverse manner from 2 to 1 the system follows two different paths. Say this is the path B and this is the path C, and ultimately we have derived change in internal energy of the system while following the path B is equal to the change in internal energy while following the path C. So this is the outcome. This is just for the internal energy. If we talk about the total energy, then it is the U. U consists of internal energy as well as kinetic energy plus potential energy. So this is the first law of thermodynamics for cyclic process as well as change in state, or simply a process of the system. Now we will learn about the perpetual motion machine 1, say simply a PMM 1, or it is also called as a perpetual motion machine 1. So what is this machine? It is a machine, it continuously gives you a work, say any type of output in the form of work without any type of input energy. This is called as a PMM1. Now PMM1. Now as per the first law of thermodynamics, it says energy neither be created nor be destroyed. It can be converted from one form to another form. Here perpetual motion machine 1, it gives continuously a work, say any type of energy without input of any energy. So it is not possible to generate for any device to deliver an energy without disappearing of any type of energy, or in other terms we can say without expense of any other type of energy. So in this case the PMM1 violates the first law of thermodynamics. So PMM1 is not be possible at all. This is just an hypothetical machine. Now if we think about the conversion of this machine or converge of this PMM1, then it could be like this. Say this is the converge of PMM1, which consumes work continuously without delivering any type of energy or any type of heat. It is nothing but the converse of PMM1. So converge of PMM1 is also again not possible because the first law of thermodynamics says it is not possible for any machine to deliver, to consume the work or any type of energy without delivering any type of energy to the surrounding. So again, it violates the first law of thermodynamics. So converse of the PMF1 is also not possible for the in reality, according to the first law of thermodynamics. Now, after completing this first law of thermodynamics, we will see one numerical based on the first law of thermodynamics for the cyclic process. So, in this case, the data is given like this. Example, in the example data is a piston cylinder machine contains a fluid system which passes through a complete cycle of 4 processes. So, cycle consists of 4 processes. During a cycle, the sum of all heat transfer is minus 170 kilojoule. So, the data is given sum of all heat transfer. So, sigma during the cycle of Q is minus 170 kilojoule per minute, kilojoule only, and cycle per minute is given 100. Cycle per minute is 100. So, this is the data given. Complete the following table as shown. The method of each item, compute the net rate work output in kilowatt. So, the table is given in the form of like this. Say process here, there are 4 processes, process A to B, B to C, C to D and D to A. And for this process is change of heat, work and internal energy is given. Say Q in terms of kilojoule per minute, work also in terms of kilojoule per minute, and kinetic energy, internal energy is also given in kilojoule per minute. And the data is given here. For the A to B is 0, here it is 2170, it is blank that we are going to calculate. Then for B to C it is 21,000, here it is 0 and that we are supposed to calculate. In C to D this is minus 2100, this is we are supposed to calculate, and this is minus 36600. And last for D2A process, all the data or all the change in heat, work and internal energy we are supposed to calculate. So, this much data is given, and this 1, 2, 3, 6 factor we are supposed to calculate with the help of first law of thermodynamics. So, for the first process A to B, apply the first law of thermodynamics for the change of state, which is nothing but the del Q, say change in heat equal to change in work plus dE, or change in internal energy, or simply a delta E. So, for this del E is given 0, work is 2170 plus change in energy. So, change in energy would be a minus 2170 kilojoule per minute. So, here it is minus 2170. Now, to calculate work delta E for the second BC process, then again we can apply this equation for that process. Then this equation for BC would be 21,000 equal to 0 plus delta E for the BC process. So, here delta E is 21,000 only. Now, to calculate work done during the process CD, then we can apply this equation for this CD, then it will become 2100 minus 2100 equal to work done we are supposed to calculate. So, del W minus 36600. So, in this case delta W equal to 36600 minus 2100. So, it would be a 34500 kilojoule per minute. So, this is 34500 kilojoule per minute. Now, here for the process D2A, any of the data is not given. So in this case we have to apply the equation or the change of heat or change of work for complete cycle, and the one data is given to us that the total change in during the cycle is minus 170 kilojoule, and the total 100 cycle execute per minute. So here we can say summation of algebraic summation of heat during the cycle is minus 170 kilojoule, and the kilojoule per, here it is per cycle, and there are 100 cycles execute per minute. So here we can say 100 into 1000 kilojoule per minute. So this is the summation of all heat, and we can apply this equation like this. Say change in Q during A to B process plus change in heat, say Q in B to C process plus change in Q during C to D process plus change in Q during D to A process. So when we apply this equation, then equation would be like this: total minus 170 equal to total change in heat, say 0 plus 21,000 plus, sorry, not plus, it is minus 2100 plus delta Q during D2A process. And in this process Q2A, if we sum up all this is just a simple calculation. So we can get the QDA would be equal to minus 35900 kilojoule per minute. Now to calculate work and delta E, again we have to apply the first law of thermodynamics for cyclic process, in which for the cycle cyclic integration of del Q, it is equal to cyclic integration of del W. So for the cyclic process, change in delta E or dE for a particular cycle is equal to 0. So here for this case, delta E or the dE for AB plus this is exact differentiation E for the BC plus exact differentiation for CD plus exact differentiation of energy for the dA equal to 0. And if we put this all the value, then it will be at minus 2170 plus 21000 minus 366600 plus change in energy during D2A process equal to 0. So by this way we can get change in internal energy during the process is EDA equal to 17, it is just a simple algebraic summation or subtraction, 17770 kilojoule per minute. So we get the two value for a particular process, 17770. So after getting the two value of that particular process, we can calculate easily the work done during the process D2A, and it is just a simple if we apply the first law for the cycle, first law for the process, then this equation would be like this: minus 35900 equal to change in work during dA plus 17770. This will give us the value of work equal to minus 53670 kilojoule per minute. So by this way we can calculate for the any process as well as for complete cycle, the change in work, change in heat, and change in internal energy. So this is the application of first law of thermodynamics. Now we will learn about the application of the first law of thermodynamics for flow process. Before going on the flow process, let us just recall the first law of thermodynamics for the process, which is del Q equal to del W plus delta, or simply a exact differentiation of E. Here E is considered as a energy of motion, say kinetic energy, then potential energy, E for potential energy plus internal energy. All the internal energy can be accumulated here. So in this case, the whole equation would become del Q equal to del W plus delta change in internal energy. So delta Ek plus delta Ep plus delta U. So by this way we can apply this equation. Now let us consider for the flow process. So let's consider this is an expansion device or simply a turbine, say T for turbine, and one stream enter at this section, say 1. This is the inlet stream and this is the outlet stream. This is at higher pressure, this is at lower pressure because expansion has been done here. has been done here. So this is the inlet section 1 and this is outlet section 2. In this process, we get some work output in the form of shaft work. Now to analyze this, let us consider this is our control volume. This is our control volume, and one stream is in and one stream is out. So in this case, there are two approaches that we can follow to analyze this process. One is the Lagrangian approach, and another is before going on another, first let's discuss the Lagrangian approach. What the Lagrange says to study for this purpose or analysis of this system, let us consider some lump of mass which will enter into the system as well as exit into the system, and follow this lump of mass and analyze all the velocity, kinetic energy, pressure, temperature, all the properties change during this within this system, and analyze according to that data. So this is the Lagrangian approach. It is quite difficult many times, and in this case it is very difficult to measure the velocity and pressure at all the time. So this is a little bit difficult for us. The another approach is Eulerian approach given by the scientist Euler. It says that there is no need to consider any type of lump of mass or measure the property at each and every different places, but consider any particular control volume, say here turbine, and concentrate on the turbine and measure the properties within the turbine, and according to that analyze the system. So this is the two approaches, and Eulerian approach or Euler approach is quite convenient for us, and during the thermodynamic analysis process we will follow the Eulerian approach always. Okay, now let us consider for the analysis purpose, this is any system, and this is the boundary. So this is also considered as a control volume for this system. So this is the control volume. In this system, one mass flow will enter at section 1. Say this is the section 1, and the mass will exit at section 2. So at section 2 mass will exit. During this process, we get some work in the form of rotation of shaft. Say work out. Say work out per unit time, it is dW by dt, and it transfer to the system is del Q, or it change when it change on the system boundary. So this is the one system. Here the flow will enter or flow will in, and here flow will out. In this case, let us consider this as a datum just to measure the potential energy of the fluid, and for this purpose let us consider the section 1 or inlet section has a height of Z1, and outlet section has a height from the datum is Z2. This is just to measure the potential energy, nothing for another else. Now let us consider the value. Say here pressure is P1, cross section area is A1, and velocity or specific volume is V1 here, and internal energy at this point is U1, then velocity is C1, because we have used for the volume, so here C stands for velocity, and Z1 is already taken, and all this quantity is as C2 with the 2 suffix. C2 is the velocity at outlet, U2 is the internal energy at the outlet stream, V2 it is the specific volume at the outlet, P2 is the pressure at the outlet, and cross section area A2 it is the outlet cross section area. Now for this process, let us consider first mass balance, and then we will go for energy balance. So for this purpose, as this is the flow process, so we will first understand what is the flow process. In the flow process, there are some lump of mass will enter during the course of time, and some lump of mass will exit during the course of time. Because what is the need to consider this type of consideration? Because in mechanical engineering, almost all type of devices are an open system, as some mass will enter, mass enters at one section and leave at another section, just like a turbine, heat exchanger, pump, compressor, all the devices are open system. Say mass can cross the boundary, as well as energy can cross the boundary. So in this case, if we consider the mass flow rate at is m1 and outlet mass flow rate is m2. So for the mass balance, it will be a mass flow rate at the inlet is equal to mass flow rate at outlet, m1 is equal to m2. Or if we apply the continuity equation, then for the continuity equation, area into velocity C1 is equal to area at outlet into the velocity at outlet, say C2. But here velocity is in meter per second, and the mass flow rate is given. Sorry, this is the in terms of mass flow rate. So we have to divide this divided by specific volume V1 to get the time in this equation. So this is the continuity equation, or the mass flow or mass balance for this system or for this control volume. Now, as we have discussed the for energy balance, so in simple terms, energy balance. So for the energy balance, energy in equal to energy out. But before going on the energy in equal or energy in or energy out, we have to consider the total work as well as total heat transfer within the system or at the boundary of the system. So first we will consider the work. So how many type of work done here? So here one work is the inlet work or flow work at the section 1. Flow work at section 1, and the amount of this flow work is nothing but the P1 V1 into change of mass, so it will be a dm1. Now flow work at the point 2 or at the outlet would be a P2 V2 dm2. m2 is the mass flow rate at the outlet condition. And another work is shaft work. Now what is shaft work here? Shaft work we get done at the rotation of the shaft. So here it is equal to Wx. We will use x for the shaft work. So this type of work or this three work we have to consider during the analysis of this particular system. And the total work here we can consider say input and for any system, say this is the system. For the system, if we apply some work or if we apply external work, then this work would be a negative and the work done by the system would be a positive. The same way for the heat, if we will add the heat, it will be considered as a plus or positive, and if the system rejects the heat, it will be considered as a negative. So while considering this sign, and the total amount of work is total work is here W equal to Wx as it is delivered, so it is positive. Now this is the flow work, but this flow work is in work, so it will be a negative of P1 V1 dm1 and at the exit, so it is the work done by the system, so it will be positive P2 V2 and dm2. If we required it is in the form rate form, so del W by del T, rate of change of with respect to time, would be a del Wx by dt minus P1 V1, dm1 by dt is nothing but the rate of change of mass. So we can say it is the mass flow rate at 1 plus P2 V2 mass flow rate at 2 m dot. So this is the work done during this process and upon the system as well as by the system. Now we will see the total heat transfer for this system across the boundary. So here this is the work. Now let's consider the heat transfer. So here there are two type of heat transfer. One is the heat transfer, carried away by the mass when it enters, and heat carried away by the mass when it leaves. And another is the heat transfer at the boundary of the system, that we will call as a dq by dt. So for this system, if we write the heat transfer during the process or the energy equation, can be written as a mass flow rate at inlet 1, and the energy with it is m1 E1. Say this is the energy inlet with the mass plus the change in heat, it is del q by dt equal to energy carried away by the mass at the outlet. Energy carried away by mass at the outlet, say here. So it will be a mass flow rate at 2 into E2 plus the total work transfer. Total work transfer is del W by dt. So this is the equation of energy transfer or heat transfer during the during this process. For this control volume. Now, if we put the value of del W by del T from this equation, then the whole equation become m1 E1 plus del Q by dt equal to m2 E2 plus all this equation, say del Wx by del T minus P1 V1 m1 mass flow rate plus P2 V2 m2, say mass flow rate at 2. So this is the this is the energy balance for this particular system. Now we can rewrite this equation as this, say m1 E1 plus this equation, say P1 V1 m1 dot plus del Q by dt equal to m2 E2 plus P2 V2 m2 plus del Wx by dt, But here what is the energy? Here this is E is the specific energy, P is the pressure, and V is the volume here. So here the total energy E is consist of all type of energy, say kinetic energy plus potential energy plus internal energy. This is the specific energy. So specific energy per mass. So here total energy consists of all this type of energy. So we have to consider the kinetic energy as a V is V is for volume. So it is c square by 2 plus potential energy is nothing but the mgz, or here simply a z chi, and plus internal energy is u. So if we replace the energy in the elaborated form, then we can write the whole equation like this, say m1 dot times E1 equal to c1 square by 2 plus z1g plus u1 plus p1 v1 m1 dot plus del q by dt equal to m2 dot times C2 square by 2 plus Z2G plus U2 plus P2 V2 M2 dot plus del Wx by dt. So this is the expansion form of equation of first law of thermodynamics for the flow process. We will just do some simplification for this equation. Then in this case here V1 square is here, the M1 dot is common in both the equation. Then we can take it in this form, say M1 dot times P1 V1 plus U1 plus C1 square by 2 plus Z1G plus del Q by dt equal to, here also we can take M2 as a common in the both equation. Then it will be a P2 V2, sorry it is a small v, plus U2 plus C2 square by 2 plus Z2G plus del Wx by dt. So after this completion, here we can see P1 V1 equal to U1 is nothing but the enthalpy H1 at the inlet, and P2 V2 plus U2 is nothing but the enthalpy at outlet. So this equation we can write as M1 dot times H1 plus C1 square by 2 plus Z1G plus del Q by dt equal to M2 dot times H2 plus C2 square by 2 plus Zg plus del Wx by dt. So this is the equation of first law of thermodynamics for the flow process in the time rate form. If we divide all this or if you consider M1 dot equal to M2 dot equal to M dot, say it is nothing but the dm by dt. If we divide all this equation with this rate form while considering a steady state equation, here we will consider it is a steady state condition. What is the steady state condition? When the mass flow rate at inlet is equal to the mass flow rate at outlet. So in the another terms we can say the process the control volume does not add any type of mass, and total mass inlet is equal to total mass out. It is called as a steady state process. So if you consider this is a steady state process, then we can if we divide all this equation by this term dm by dt, then we get the equation h1 plus c1 square by 2 plus z1g plus del q by dm equal to h2 plus c2 square by 2 plus z2g here, not only zg, z2g plus del wx divided by dm. So this is the equation per kg form or per unit mass, and this is the equation per unit time. So these are the two equations used for the steady state equation for this is the called as a steady flow energy equation for a particular system. So that is all for friend today. We will meet again in the next lecture with some numerical based on this steady flow energy equation. This is called a steady flow energy equation, and we will apply this equation on the few mechanical devices. So that is all for friend today. Thank you.